get back to a particular graphics software such as GIMP, as we can see over here, GIMP, previously before the apprehension of this particular CSS codes, all we need to do, we need to adjust the desired output of that particular image using a particular graphics software like this. This is a GMP software, and we are right now doing some image adjustments, such as if we want to increase the brightness condition, we can see that there is an increment in the brightness condition. We can decrease the contrast over here. So the main point is, anything that we wish to do previously, we had to do that with the aid of a particular graphics software. If you want to have some hue saturation, if you want it to be a yellowish in nature or magenta-ish in nature, all you needed to do over here, you need to adjust this particular things, you need to create that particular thing into this graphics software. So everything we need to do that with the aid of a graphics software. But with the advent of this particular CSS codes, we can do that manually into our web coding. We do not practically require any kind of graphics software or any kind of external software to do those sort of editings that we had done previously. So how to do that? In that particular case, all we need to do, we need to use this property here, filter. Now if we provide this blur here, this is the blur condition. Now if we provide for say 5 peaks, get back to our project and reload, and you can see that your image is now getting blurred. This is due to the fact we have used a blur condition, a filter blur condition of 5 peaks. Now if instead of blur, if we invert our picture, something like this one, or say we would like to invert it 100%. Get back to your project, reload, and you can see that the same invert thing that we have done. So what is this invert in actuality? If we get back to this GIMP software, and we can see that there comes this invert. So if we invert this image, we can see that this is the similar result that we can code over here with the aid of our text editor only. There's practically no need of any kind of external software. On the other hand, if we want to make some color change or brightness change, something like this, if we want to increase our brightness a little bit, so we are providing a percentage value for the increment of this brightness. Get back to your project, reload. In the prior case, let's restore it. First of all, let's restore it into its original condition. So we have removed it, and reloading, we can see that this is the original output of this particular image. Now if we provide this brightness of 150%, see this one, now reload, and you can see that the brightness level is now increased. If you want to understand it more better, then make it 250%, get back to your project and reload, and you can see that the brightness level is now increased. In the same manner, if we want to increase this particular contrast level, for say we have increased the contrast level to 250%, then reload, and you can see that this will be the output. That means we have used either a brightness or a contrast, or then if we use here sepia, and if we make it 100%, sepia is a value that will be using a percentage value. So reload, and you can see that under this sepia mode, this will be in practicality the actual result of it. On the other hand, if we now remove this sepia, first of all remove it, let it be as it is, get back to your project and reload, you can see that this is the original image. If we now use this particular drop shadow over here, now drop shadow has the same effect as we have seen in previous cases, such as this box shadow or this kind of thing. So all it takes in the first case, it takes a horizontal value, a vertical value, the total amount of blurriness. You may set it to 0 pixels or you may set it to any value you want. I am setting it to 2 pixels, and then it requires the color. For say I am putting this black color over here. Now if we keep it up to this and get back to our project and reload, we can see that there isn't practically any effective change. Now the situation is we have provided this filter properties. Here comes another distinguishing characteristic that we need to maintain, that we need to follow, that in case of this particular filter properties, they should be imposed on this particular image, not on this particular div. So far we were practically imposing this CSS filter properties into our div, but not onto that particular image. So you need to take care of it, and instead of it providing here, you need to put it into the image that you have created. Now we have provided this particular filter property of drop shadow with a horizontal value which is required, with a vertical value which is another requirement. This is the blurriness amount which is a required value, and on the other hand, in the fourth case, as a fourth parameter, we can provide the amount of spread of this particular filter property. So this is an optional value, and you can put it in the negative region or you can put it into the positive region. That means in case of a negative value, it should be growing into the upper part of this particular image, and in case of positive value, it will be spreading towards the downwards of this particular image. So right now I am not using any fourth parameter over here. Instead I am just putting these three parameters and this color of the particular drop shadow that we have created. Now all we need to do, get back to our project and reload, and you can see that here comes this particular drop shadow which is been applied to. If we increase this horizontal and this vertical amount, reload, and you can see that this will be the result. Now as I was speaking here, in case if we put these negative values on and reload, we can see that the drop shadow property is now changing its alignment, changing its direction. Instead of bottom part, it is now occupying the whole upper part or the top part of this image. Now instead of this negative value, we are putting back this particular positive values over here. Get back to your project and reload, and you can see that this is the result. Now all we can do, we can put on this fourth value, and we are putting it on as a 5 px blurriness amount.